Hey peeps, how you doing today? Well, I'm doing this one late. It's Wednesday, October the 5th. I know our day off, right? 7:15 p.m. Instead of a joke today, I wanted you to have a look at this and see if you can figure out what's wrong with the puzzle. Go ahead and pause, and when you're ready, go ahead and unpause, and I'll tell you what it is. All right. So, welcome back, however long you needed. Hopefully, you were able to see that while we have water here under this bridge, we've got no water. Where did the river go? So, that is what is wrong with this picture. All right. You today are going to need your workbook. So, if you want to pause and go grab your workbook, you'll also need a pencil and a highlighter. That would be fantastic. So, I'll go ahead and wait for you and then just press on play when you come back. All right. So let's go ahead and start right here. And let me drag this out a little bit more. You're going to start today on page 15. And oh, I can move myself. Yay! That's amazing. All right. Love technology. All right. On the bottom of page 15, there's going to be an activity where you are, there's an investigation where it says temperatures and states of matter. And right here, temperatures and states of matter. You will need to go to the FET and you'll need to follow the instructions of number one and number two. It's a really quick FET. It's just trying to get your ideas, just get some ideas going so you're prepared for today's lesson. So go ahead and try this. If you don't have the FET as a bookmark, you can go back to 2.1e, and 2.1e is where you can find that FET link. When you're finished, go ahead and come on back, but you can press pause now. Hey guys, welcome back. So for right now, if you can turn over to page 16 in your workbook. Today, I'm hoping that you'll be able to answer this question of what energy can a particle have? When we're finished with the video, hopefully you can say the two types of energy that a particle can have. And there are more depending on the types of science you're talking about, but we're only going to focus on two types of energy. All righty. So here we go. I'll start by doing some reading to you, kind of like normal, and show you where to highlight things. And then there'll be some reading where you're doing it on your own and you're highlighting on your own and seeing how you're doing with your highlighting skills. So here we go. So energy and temperature. Heating the neon in that FET added energy to the neon particles. As energy is added, the particles move faster. Sounds kind of makes sense. This increases the kinetic energy. This is going to be a new word for you. You can see it's bold and underlined of the particles. Kinetic energy is the energy an object has due to its motion. The faster the particles move, the more kinetic energy it has. So with your pen or highlighter, kinetic energy is the energy an object has due to its motion. The faster the particles move, the more the kinetic energy. And so, yes, you can infer if there's no motion, then there's no kinetic energy. All righty. Go and clear that screen and go back. Let's move down to the next paragraph. Heating neon also increased the temperature. So two different things here. The temperature of a substance depends on how much kinetic energy the particles have. The measure of an average kinetic energy of the particles in a material is its temperature. The higher the kinetic energy of the particles, the higher the temperature of the substance. And some of you have heard that word temperature before. I have a temperature. What's the temperature of the oven? What's the temperature outside? And temperature is basically the average energy of the particles. It's kind of like a speedometer. How fast is a car moving? Well, a thermometer is how fast or slow or what the speed of the particles are. So with your highlighter, if you can, go ahead and underline the measure of the average kinetic energy is temperature. All right, if you can go ahead and scroll down here. And as you look at this picture here, it's impossible for you to tell, but there are two beakers of water here. And this beaker is cool and this beaker is warm. And some of you are saying, well, how can you tell? Well, just like on Friday when we used the thermometers that have the mercury, the higher the mercury moves, like over here, the more the particles, the mercury is moving is because of the energy that's in there. So if there's hot water or warm water, the molecules are moving around, they're banging against the mercury starts rising. And over here, the thermometer is in cool water, so there's not a lot of kinetic energy. And so the mercury is not moving very much. So with your pen or your pencil, if you can go ahead and write the word lower over here. Let's see how well I do this. I'm sure there's a text feature that I'm just not smart enough to get. And over here, this one has a higher kinetic energy. And we can tell it has that higher kinetic energy because of where the mercury is in the beakers. All righty. Go ahead and also add a little box here, just because you're responsible for being able to model. And let's go ahead and make some cooler marks. So over here, we can make it here. We can have it move here. This is a liquid. So it's not a solid. We know that. We can drop some molecules here. You can see how terrible I'm drawing this one line. Remember how many lines show how it's moving. And then over here, right by my face, we can start making them move faster by adding more lines. And I'm sure yours is going to look a whole lot better than mine. I think I just made a character that's got some strange eyes and, and some eyebrows. But being able to model faster kinetic energy and slower kinetic energy is important. So you can see this one over here is slower because it has one line of motion. This one over here has 3 lines of motion. You can go ahead and pause and pick this up and add as you need to. All righty. Let's go back over here and go to this pen. Let's clear the screen. All right. Over on page 17, you have a couple of questions that you are going to answer. You're going to try your best. You'll get the correct answers to these questions once you move on to the next activity. So on the bottom of page 17, there's no reading or highlighting on 17. Yes. Just answer those 2 questions and then unpause, and I'll see you on the next page. All right, here you are. Welcome back. Welcome back. Okay. So on this page, this last piece, I want to focus on just on your ability to find the important information. So you're going to focus on the types of energy. What I'd like you to start doing is I'd like you to read from thermal here to thermal here. Just want you to read from here. I want you to pause the video, and then I want you to, with your pencil, see what you think is important. And then when you're ready, unpause, and I'll show you what I was hoping you would highlight. All right, so welcome back. Hopefully, as this was talking about how much energy, if the temperature is the same, whatever has more of the substance is going to have more energy. So if you have a bathtub that's 20 degrees Celsius, but you have a glass of water, the bathtub is clearly filled with more water, and so it has more energy. But hopefully you underlined right here the result. Ooh, this yellow doesn't show up very well, so maybe I'll do pink. Yay, I love pink. The result of the motion of all particles and the distance and attractions between those particles is thermal energy. So you can say if something has thermal energy, you can show it by drawing the particles, drawing the distance between them, and then drawing the motion as well. So over here, go ahead and draw once again a couple of these. And in this bottom one, we'll just add a couple of pieces here. I should have added some stickies. That's what I should have done. That would have been perfect, right? Do I have stickies? That would have been amazing. Okay. Oh, well. Can I go back? Oh, yeah, I've got stickers. Okay. So if we have this, boom, 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 this little solid here, and we make them move, this is going to be low thermal energy. Why? Because there's not a lot of space between them and they're not moving very fast. You can see the spaces, you can see the lines. But over here, you can see that there is way more space in between them, and the lines show that there's way more movement. And so this would be high thermal energy. Now, if this one down here is a solid, what do you think this one is? Yeah, absolutely, that this would be a gas. So you should go ahead and write that in as well. And this is going to be a solid down here. Solid as a rock. 1970 songs, I just can't help it. All right. All right, so let's go down and let's have you read one more time. I'm going to have you read from this word thermal energy all the way down to the phrase liquid state. Oops, look out. Let's go back. There we go. Freaking out a little bit. So go ahead and pause and let's see if you can figure out what you were supposed to highlight. All right, welcome back. I was hoping in this one that you would be highlighting, I made my little notes here, thermal depends on the state, there we go, is that thermal, ooh, look out, get this pen here, there we go, is that thermal energy of a substance depends, oops, sorry, wrong one, boo, hold on a second, let me clear the screen, there we go. Thermal energy depends on the state of a substance. So depending on whether it's solid, liquid, or gas, that's really going to determine how much thermal energy it is. For example, when you look down at this pasta pot down here, the water, because it's liquid, is going to have more thermal energy than the pasta because the pasta is a solid. Now, eventually that pasta could become softer. You could, I don't know if you can turn pasta into a liquid, maybe if you cook it long enough, but you can see that even in the water, the thermal energy, you've got more here, you've got less here, you've got a solid here, and you've got a liquid here. All right, guys. Great job today. I know it was a long one, but hopefully you figured out, if I asked you the questions, what are the two types of energy? You'd be able to answer those.